I'm working on my newsletter for this week. We are talking about the listening, why it's so difficult sometimes for speakers as a second language, English as a second language speakers, to understand other people, why it's so complicated. And I have 3 reasons. So in the newsletter, you have the 3 reasons, you have how you can solve it. But I made this video just to expand a little bit because I think it's very important to understand and to see how can we approach that problem and to make it work. So our listening is going to be better to improve it. So the first reason that I put in the newsletter is vocabulary. Why? You cannot say something, you cannot, if you have a code in your brain, imagine that each one of the words are codes, are just that you are putting in a basket in your brain. But if you don't understand, if you don't know what are the words, so it's impossible that you can understand what they are talking about. Sometimes if you have the person and that person is just pointing some parts, probably you are going to guess. But in this case, when you have a conversation, sometimes you are going to guess, but not all the time, because if not, that won't be a good conversation. That is like you are speaking with a child, kid, and when you have a conversation, especially in business, you need to have to feel like you are in the same position that the other person, and not because your English it's in a lower condition, you are less than the other person. Okay, because you are there because you have an experience, because you have something to offer to the other person. So please focus. Probably think about if you are not understanding, it's just because you don't understand all the vocabulary. If you are speaking about some technical issues, so probably you need to learn about that vocabulary. But think about that. And again, if you want to see the newsletter, just let me know, put it in the comment DM, send me a DM, a direct message, your email, and I can add you to the list. The second reason is about context. When I'm talking about context is you need to know, if you go to a party, you know what they are going to talk about. If you are in a flight and you have people around you, what do you think they are going to ask you? Where are you from? Where are you going? With whom? So things related with the moment, with the context, with the situation that you are right now. So don't over stress, because sometimes you are just focusing in trying to understand words and you forget that it's a context. Like you can have other words that they can help you to recover the information, to think about, oh, they are talking about this. And this is important. Also, just try to ask questions. So, but my recommendation is don't ask all the time. You can do one time, but no more than one time in a conversation. Like, say that again. Can you repeat me again? Sorry, I don't understand. No, just repeat whatever part of the conversation or of the question that you already understood. Why? Because that means like you are interested in that. Like the other person feels like you are in the conversation, that it's a real conversation. So just ask about the thing that you already understood. And don't be quiet. Don't just say yes or not, because that's not the way that it's going to help you to solve the problem and be in the conversation. Okay? And the third reason is practice. Sometimes we cannot understand other people because we are not, we usually don't go and speak with other people. Remember, English is an international language. That means like you can find people from Asia, people from South America, people from Canada, people from different parts of the world, that they have their own accent. Why? Because when you use your own language, your main language, your native language, you have some sounds, and for that sound you need to use certain muscles on your mouth. That means like you are some muscles that you don't use. Why? Because you don't need it. That probably sometimes you think like doesn't exist, that part in your mouth doesn't exist, are minimal things, minimal organs, minimal tendons, minimal muscles, but you need to speak with less accent in another language. So that's the point. And so just are tricks. Remember, every time that you are learning something, you need to practice. Imagine that you have some object in your house. Every time, if you use frequently, you know exactly where it is. But sometimes you have something and you just said, I'm going to keep this in this drawer or in this space because and I don't want to forget. But you don't use that. You don't use that object frequently. And then 3 months, 5 months, 2 years later, you say, oh my goodness, I remember that I put it in some place, but I don't know where. Why? Because you didn't use. So language is the same. If you don't use it, you lose it. So just try to practice. And again, if you want to receive the newsletter, just let me know. And we will see. See you soon. Bye-bye.